Yo, what's up, guys? It is Wednesday morning, 10:46 a.m. here, and I owe you guys an explanation on everything that's been going on. It's been, a while, a couple weeks here. Tons of changes to the game are happening, all for the good for the most part. There's a lot of outrage, but I feel like it's coming from a place of not really understanding, having things dropped on your heads out of nowhere, tons of tweaks, changes, and whatnot. So, wanted to come live here, wanted to make a video here real quick, drop this for you guys later today around typical stream time. But again, something you guys can just pick up whenever. We'll have a pop-up, all that good stuff, so you guys can see, and make sure we get everyone's attention. And I just wanted to go through and explain what has happened, what's been going on, what the result of all that was, and then basically what we learned from it and the changes that I've implemented and gone through with, things that I asked about a year ago that maybe we should have done then, and just kind of give you guys the why on all of it and how it all kind of blends back together into what I think is now a much better system and should help with everybody going forward. Okay, so a lot of ups, a lot of downs in this, but all in all, I think once you sit back and take in everything, you'll kind of understand where everything is going and why the changes needed to occur and why they needed to occur quickly. All right, so let's get into it. And first and foremost, let's just talk about the entire thing and what spurned all of this, what caused all of this to happen. So, I periodically do jump through and check in on people's accounts, see what's going on in the background. I'm always watching. I'm always seeing. There's a ton of people on the site all the time. There's always things happening around the clock, and so once in a while, I look in, I monitor things like mission totals, different things, resources, whatever. I'm always watching for the most part, right? While I play the game along with you guys. And, back last year in, I believe in May of last year, we had put out the original statement that I had noticed that there were, people talking about bots and things and people talking about missions and, needing scrap and needing this and needing that and running multiple accounts and everyone. Hey, this all came to a head kind of last year, right? And we talked about it in May, right? It was sort of a gray area. Oh, we don't want you guys to bot. Obviously, end of the day, I don't want there to be a need for you guys to bot. And I think I said it back then. I think the only way to really remedy the entire thing between the alts and the burners and whatever and the bots and all that is to, get rid of the exploit overall, right? You have an exploit, it's going to be exploited. No matter what, you have to be black and white, right? So last year we said, in May, hey, it's going to be cut down on. I did talk to a lot of people. I did deactivate a ton of bot accounts. Talk to some of the people who got a lot of people started on all that stuff and just kind of to get more information, right? Because at the end of the day, it's one thing to just be like, oh, I'm mad, you guys are taking advantage. But, doing that is leading to other people feeling like they need to join in, whatever. So with all this stuff happening last year and saying okay, here, going to John and saying, hey, I think we should just kind of take it away. He didn't really want to do it. Fast forward to this year, and honestly, a lot of people did listen. There were people who also did not. So, starting a few weeks ago, I started to deep dive on the site, looking at everything. These gigantic scrap piles coming out of nowhere, these tons of pack openings, all these things that I started to see. And I started to dive deeper, and, it started to uncover a lot and paint a picture of, the game not going into a bad direction, but heading down a path that is causing bigger issues for other people and the people just trying to enjoy the game, right? And not wanting to feel like they have to spend every waking moment on the game to be able to, even just keep up, okay? And so what had happened was, I came across a a bunch of accounts, a bunch of accounts, main people. You guys know who you are. I've talked to many people. I've talked to many more people about it. And the thing is, it wasn't just like a single thing. Oh, this person's botting or this, whatever. We had everything from people running multiple accounts and subbing multiple accounts, which is great, and which we want to incentivize, right? But then, also people running multiple accounts that aren't subbed and transferring resources back over, transferring cards. We had people doing that plus botting on top and things like that. And at the end of the day, that's just what we legitimately can't have. So whether there was gray area or not in the past, it's always still been, look, I understand that you guys need to finish out missions for the week. You feel, we've taken it from 250 mission wins down to 100 mission wins, and cut the duration down for things, 5 minutes for the normal and whatnot. So all of that is to, still leave this little bit of competitive balance in the game to where, like, hey, you can get ahead a little bit by running a ton of missions and be able to grind more than other people. But at the end of the day, it just leads to the ability to exploit, right? Having things like coins and missions, having things like scrap per mission play. You just cannot have it with these things out there that just allow people to exploit and get ahead. So basically, the result of all of this was that changes needed to be made. Changes needed to come down, okay? And so I got with John again. I just said, look, here's what we got to do. We cannot, the per mission stuff, it just has to go away. And, we can make up for it in other places with the system that we have in place, right? And so first things first, again, you guys know who you are. The people who did abuse and abused a lot, there were some hefty fines laid down. I mean, we're talking loss of cards, millions of coins deducted from accounts, whether you had them or not. Scrap as well. Like, people were big negative. At the end of the day, it needed to hurt. You guys need to understand, like, it's not something that should be taken lightly, and it wasn't taken lightly. And so if you're one of the people who, again, shout out Steve-O, guys like that who do grind, who multi-sub accounts, who play straight. Yes, maybe there's transferring of resources and whatnot, but like, all in all, playing the game straight, right? I feel bad. I feel worse for those people as opposed to, the other side of it. So, look, I want you guys to understand, like, I take it seriously. At this point, I push to just let's, start over in the way that we kind of approach this, missions wise and whatnot. The people who were at fault, for the most part, were fined and, fined heavily. Again, the card loss, probably one of the biggest parts of it. But, past just banning accounts and whatnot, again, this is a learning experience, right? I said it last year. We just got to get rid of the exploit. If there's an exploit, it will be used. It's just the way it is, okay? And so but also, I think it also points like a glaring, like a finger just at the fact that, like, scrap is not only difficult to get, but you need so much of it, okay? And so I think that was another eye-opening thing in all of this. And again, it kind of led us to some of the changes that you're going to see here in a minute, some of the stuff that I want to go over. All in all, I think everything that I've changed over the past like few weeks here and everything that like has been dropped on you guys, I think you will understand in the end that it's just going to be a better game for everybody. Understanding the fact that, like, hey, you're not behind because you're not grinding as much or whatever. But let me show you guys everything, what all the changes that happened were, and the reasoning behind all of it, okay? So, first things first, I guess we should go into here because we might as well look at this, okay? So, auction house. The auction house is not going away. It did not go away, okay? There are still cards out in the auction house. There's still a lot of stuff there for, like, especially the newer crew coming in. You can get some really nice stuff in here. You'll see some event cards pop, some different things. It depends on the day. But a lot of epic and lower stuff in the auction house. And again, stuff, if you don't have a Tucker Craft, things like, yeah, that's a bit expensive, but This will still continue to be a thing so that people can come in, grab, things like gloves and different equipment pieces and go. Again, this is crazy expensive. So I'll talk to John about that. We'll get maybe that changed if that gives you a little bit of a hint. But all this is to say that the ability, at least temporarily, the ability for you guys to post to the auction house is taken away, okay? And the biggest reason for that is, again, if you have scrap in permissions, if you have the ability to grab coins and cards and whatever, all that happens is we end up just having people transferring stuff, whether it be burners, something, whatever, right? End of the day, the point of these accounts is the point of alts as well, or the way that we see them is you playing it and look, not having this massive advantage on one account, but playing them all out. You get your tradable cards, you do your thing with that. But all in all, things like scrap and, you should be focusing on these untradeable packs and things that you can now get more of through missions, but then that scrap should be to your account, okay, and bound to your account. And so that's been the point of this, okay? So getting rid of the ability to post to the auction house. Now I won't go on and see, the last 50 transactions are just somebody selling a normal Daniel Jones to themselves for $50K and transferring scrap over, because end of the day, looking at it, I'm going to say greater than 90% of all transactions on the auction house were just people transferring scrap, whether it be unsub bots or unsubbed alts or subbed alts or whatever. People were transferring scrap, okay? Again, we don't want it. We can't have it. But then also, I think it just points out the fact that, like, scrap is in high demand and we need more ways to get it. But in order to do that and add in more ways to get it and more it needs to be done in the right way so that it cannot be abused, okay? So that's the first thing. We dealt with the people involved. We shut off the auction house. That's the reason or posting to the auction house. That's the reason for that. And now let's get into what happened in missions. So per win loss, you can now see down here is gone, okay? And when I say per win loss, right down here, it's not that the per win loss stuff is gone completely. You still are going to get experience. You'll still get wins, things like that. If you're working on whiteouts, that remains the same. If you're leveling up cards, for the most part, that remains the same in here, okay? Other than that, we just could not have win-loss, scrap, and coins in anymore. Again, it's there. It gets abused. So the changes that happened, pulled those out all the way through the ranks, all the way up to super. All of it is gone, okay? All you're going to be getting from now on per win-loss is the XP that you guys are used to typically getting, okay? But it's not like I just wanted to take it all away, okay, shut it off, we're good. No, it's all been instituted right back into the mission setup that we're going to have each week, okay? So you've seen it's changed a bit now. You guys can go through and kind of check it out. If you're on PC, you can actually hover over. You can see exactly what the packs are. But everything that you are going to earn from missions going forward, okay, is going to be either scrap, which is good, right? Non-transferable scrap, because you can no longer send it across accounts and different things in that way. But you're going to be getting a lot more packs, a lot more newbie packs, right? And you're going to see that for the majority of missions, all of the coins are just removed, okay? There's been a bigger balance put back into the game. I did leave 25K at super, which I may or may not take away later. All good. But at least, like, this is the highest end and not really much transferring you can do with that. It just felt better than just a legendary scrap pack or resource pack, okay? So some people are going to say, hey, well, you know what? It's a lot less scrap, a lot less coins, a lot less tradables in the game. Sure, it's some less tradables in the game for sure, but all the scrap that you guys would have gotten in a typical number of missions that you complete in a week, again, not a Ja or Stevel typical amount, people who are like that, who really, really grind, yeah, it's going to hurt them a little bit more, but more has been added back to the actual win-loss prize tiers, okay? So One thing I didn't even realize is that normal, fine, and rare, that was the only time where you got scrap in missions. I didn't realize. Then it switched to trophies up here. And yeah, you didn't get scrap anymore. You learn something new every day. All right. So for the amount that you would say to get, 150 wins or whatnot in normals, I redistributed that amount of scrap within here. Same thing for fines, same thing through rares. Okay, so the difference is if you now complete your missions and everything you see on the board, yeah, you're not going to be able to get ahead, but now you guys can know that no one else is getting further ahead of you. Okay, and now we have it stabilized a bit and we can adjust from here. So all the scrap values, all the packs, this has all been increased all the way up to rare. We get into epic, same thing. Say you could get 45 wins a week. Okay, that's 45 extra trophies you should have. Well, the trophies have now been dispersed sort of evenly throughout the setup in the mission win tiers. You'll be able to earn about the same amount of trophies, about the same amount of packs and whatnot throughout there. Again, packs in place of the coins in the end. Again, it was only 10K in here, so easy to spread that throughout, whether it be these rare 25 packs, which you're going to see a little bit more in missions. But again, everything is now back, but it's just a fixed amount that you can earn for the week, okay? Same thing with legendary, it increases, and supers as well, okay? So super, and you will notice one of the biggest changes here is the amount of pubes. The amount of super pubes actually went up more than double, okay? I don't think many people have noticed it just yet, but if you go to the pack page and you scroll down, there is a new cost to super trade-ins. It went from 125 on the super pubes up to 225, and there's a couple reasons for that, okay? So before I get into the next parts, again, just let me explain. In thinking this all through and going like, hey, there's an issue. We can't roll. We can't do this. People need to do X, Y, and Z more, right? We don't want to be gatekeeping, okay? I can't increase super essence in missions unless there is a give and take somewhere else, right? And at the same time, people opening super trade up packs now with 1 in 4 holiday shot instead of 1 in 12, all the odds have gotten better, makes them a lot more valuable. Well, I also do want people keeping these essence and things because you will need them, right? I want you guys to get a new super equipment piece and be able to roll it, okay? Now, putting some of these back in here, along with more of the trophies in here, things that are attainable for you guys. Maybe you can only get 9 super wins on the week. Okay, that's 5 more rolls that you guys get. That coupled with 32 rolls and you get a guaranteed rebind on a piece of super equipment. Well, there you go. That helps so much more, okay? Not only are we making it now, flatter but easier to pick up scrap, to pick up essence or pubes throughout the week in missions, but this leads us to the next fix and the next tweak that you guys have noticed, and this is one of the give points, okay? Not really just all take, okay? And that is the change to the rolling of cards and the rebinding of cards and the cost of all those things, okay? And this is one of the real wins, I think, of everything. Again, not all bad comes from what happened over the past year and the last month and everything I've dug into. We've also, it's helped me convince John and help him change his mind on more of the gatekeeping that's been in the game for so long, right? How expensive it is to rebind rares and whatever, and especially when it's like that's the stuff that the newer player needs, right, to build up, to get to the mid game, to be able to survive through that and to keep going. So with that being said, massive changes across the board to not only the cost of rolls, but also to the rebind cost, okay? And I'm going to show you guys that here on this Super Independent Sudo Lem, okay? First things first, we got normal all the way up to super. Normal cost dropped all the way down to 5 scrap, okay? It was much more, it was a lot higher in the past. It was higher than that even, I think, a month ago we had made a change, but I kept saying, even last year, John, we need to make it cheaper. I said, I don't care if this is 1. People should be able to get into the game. And if you're brand new, it should be free to rebind your cards. There you go, 25 scrap, whatever. And it should be basically free to put whatever rolls you want on the card, especially at normal. You want it to go up a little bit more from there, that's fine. But normals, fines, rares, you should, as a new player, be able to get in the game and equip all of your players, okay? So, normal. Like we said, rolls up to down to 5 scrap per roll. That's amazing. Fine rolls to 10. Rare rolls to 25. That is so cheap to be able to roll a card like this with all these stat points. That gets everybody in the game much quicker and moving. On top of that, if you had a card like this, rebinding it in the past was so much more expensive than it is now. It is now a flat price to rebind any of these cards, okay? Flat price for each rarity, which is even nicer. So let's go through the rolls. Nothing changed again for epics. 250 seems pretty decent. The jump from rare at 25 to epic 250. Yeah, that's, you know, now you're starting to see mid-game and it's going to take a little bit more to get your stuff into a better place. But you have your lock. It's only 3 other things you need to roll. It is very, very doable, okay? Same thing with Legendary. Legendary, still 500 per roll. I didn't think we necessarily needed a decrease to the Legendary as compared to Super, which went all the way down to 1,000. Now, Super used to be 1,500 per roll. It is now 1,000 per roll. It is still very expensive to roll a Super equipment piece or a Super player, but saving you 500 scrap per roll is so nice and much more forgiving, okay? Couple that with the fact that you have 6 stats on this, 1 lock, a lot nicer now compared to 1,500, but that to me was the reason why we didn't really need to decrease Legendary from 500 down to maybe 250, Epic on down. It is 1 less stat, that much easier to roll, and again, you know, just it felt worse on the Super end. I think Legendaries are okay. All right. Now, with regards to rebind cost, flat 25,000 scrap to rebind. Once you hit your 32 rolls, or if it's a blackout piece for a Super, 25K is the maximum it can be, okay? In the past, this may have been 75,000 scrap, 100,000 scrap to rebind, and that was just such a crazy number. Finally, I got them to listen. We got guaranteed rebinds once you hit your 30-second roll, which you've already spent 64 trophies and the 32 pubes on. It's much nicer to say, okay, 25K, I get to pick my team. All right, much nicer. Legendary is 10K. Epic is 5K. And again, we're down to 1,000 for a blue, 250 for a green, and basically free at 25 for a normal. That should help you guys save a lot more scrap. That should take the pressure off to run multiple accounts. It should just, quality of life wise, it should be so much better for you guys out there trying to perfect your cards, trying to rebind and move gear around. Again, it shouldn't be gate kept. It should feel expensive, but there should be a progression from early game all the way up to, you know, the Legendary, the Super points in the game, and it shouldn't be everybody hitting a brick wall and it just being, you know, and it just being done, okay? Again, going back to missions and the changes, you'll notice we start with normal packs. We get to normal all of a sudden in fine in the early game. You're going to get up to some fine packs. You get to rare, you see some fines. You jump up into rare packs, 25 packs at the end, and then you'll start to see more packs like that and mixed in on essence and other things that you need more of as you get further in the game. Again, people, oh, well, it's not really worth doing this, not really worth grinding that. I get that. However, maybe it is worth, and maybe it is worth, you know, to the grinder to get ahead by grabbing these extra untradeable packs, okay? Even if they are normal, they still have a chance to pop Super, and you may not think it's worth it, but I think this caters to the early game here, into the mid game with some of the packs that you'll get here, and it will get you ready to start delving into building the legendary sets and all that good stuff from there, and working your way up to supers where you'll be able to roll more with the essence you can pull here, the addition of the trophies into the win bases, and as you get better, it will allow for more progression naturally. And that, at the end of the day, should be the name of the game, not gatekeeping supers and event and whatever. This is why we've, changed the odds for rebirth and, the pack odds and all that on holiday cards versus, draft cards versus champ, all this stuff, right? It's all part of a great rebalancing of the game, which I understand. It feels like things are changing so often for you guys, but end of the day, it makes so much sense. It's going to play so much better, and you guys won't be worried that you're getting behind and whatnot. It will feel like more of an even playing field, okay? That is everything that happened over the past, month that I've gotten into, and the changes on the missions end and the exploit end. But there's now more good stuff that's also coming from it that, is going to affect everyone day to day. But in balancing this, I also looked again at balancing contests and where now we can start to put more stuff back in, because a lot of people say, oh, now I just don't have any coins. Now it's like, well, unless I'm doing well in Unlimited, that's the only spot I'm getting coins from. And again, we don't want that to be the case, but end of the day, we do need to make sure the coins are, at least, since that is what puts out tradable cards into the universe, that the coins are, sub-tiered rewards across the board. Okay, so we talked about the changes, the roles, the changes to rebinds, the changes to mission, the auction house. It is possible that we get that back a little bit later in a different way. And again, man, I'm sorry to the people who really do sometimes, myself included, sell legendaries on there if you just need scrap, right? But we're hoping that these changes, scrap will be more readily available. You won't need to do as much. Maybe instead of selling for scrap, you start turning those into essence and whatnot, building your accounts that way. Again, we will monitor, but hopefully this is all going to work out in the end for the better, okay? So the next thing is the rebalancing of contests, right? And, we did a balance just recently, right? Added in coins and things for subscribers only through Unlimited, segregated them off, put them in by ratio, whether you're a tier 1, 2, or 3 sub, right? There's a ton of free stuff. If you're not sub, all good. But tier 1 is a fifth of it, basically. Tier 2 is another fifth of the prize set, and then tier 3 is 3/5, right? And so that's the rule we're kind of trying to push across the FTS world with regards to contests, and trying to make it make sense for everybody, right? So that there is a reason for you to want to tier 3 and support the game and the build and all this stuff as we inch towards RTG and everything else. Again, that's a tier 1 and above mode. So again, people always say, well, tier 3. Don't forget, you also get 50 trophies a week for being a tier 3 sub every Saturday, and your 50k scrap and your essence and whatnot, legendary and epic pubes. It's a pretty good deal. Oh, plus all the tickets that you get, so it basically pays for itself. So to me, this still makes a lot of sense. But changes to contests and what I think are actually really good changes, okay? People could say, oh, Unlimited got nerfed. Sort of. The coins actually got pushed a little further up and flattened, a little prettier with the numbers. Cullen, shout out. But rebalance this a bit between coins and trophies, evened it out a little bit better. Now you will be able to earn up to a flat, easy number of 250k through Unlimited. And the white point for coins is all the way at 85k still, all good. So you get there, 250k and 900 trophies. That is the flat amount, okay? pushed back up into the tier 1 sub rewards were more coins, more trophies as well. Now, if you get to 25K points, you're going to pick up 20K coins. You're going to pick up a resource pack plus this 10. That's 35. That's 60, 75 trophies as well. So that's a nice haul, okay? And again, it's balanced all the way through. You'll get about double that, skewed a little more towards tier 2 in there, and then the rest of the 250K in the back end for tier 3 if you can get that high, okay? Now, taking away 30K coins, it allows me to put coins back into the game in other places, right? To keep it very balanced, you know, not really taking away, but also add coins in other places, which we do desperately need, okay? Actually, I'm going to start with Blackout, okay, because this is tier 1 sub and greater only. Again, this is early game. So if you are playing in salary Blackout games, which you can right off the rip, you don't need cards to play in these. This is just straight DFS. As a free player, you get 1 free entry as a tier 1 sub. You still have that 1 free entry. Tier 2 get a second, tier 3 get a third, okay? But what that means is you can place multiple times. Salary, early game, right? Technically feeds the early game. You get a bunch of free untradeable packs, some scrap for being a free player, all good. You can't transfer it anymore, so it's, you know, is what it is. You want to transfer some tradable cards to that account. You want to roll it, all good. You're not going to be able to take all of your XP anymore once that card's traded. You guys who've been around a while understand that. But still, tons of great stuff for you to win if you are just a free tier player to get your account closer to mid game. But if you are a subscriber 1's going to get a shot at all of these. Again, 3 shots at it if you are a tier 3 subscriber on the site. To me, very worth it. And 10K coins put back into first place as a tier 1 subscriber and higher reward. Second place, you're going to pick up 7,500. Third through fifth, 5K. Sixth through 10th, 3,500. What does that mean? Top 10 finishers in Blackout are going to get some coins. Now, it's going to be a small chunk of coins, right? If you finish top 10 and with all 3 of yours, shout out Cody the other day. I saw him do that. I think he was like 6, 7, 8 with his. You'll be able to triple dip in here. That's awesome, right? But it's not going to be broken, right? Maybe you get, you know, 6, 7, 8, you're going to get 3,500 coins times 3. It's all good. It's a little bit of a bonus on top of everything else you get, which is event packs, some resource packs up here for being a subscriber, and the scrap that you get along the way as a bonus. Okay, so up to 10K, even if you're a tier 1 player, you can win 10K on top of everything else that you would have gotten for being a tier 1 sub and finishing first in Blackout. Okay, so that's a very nice upgrade. Moving up to capped. If you see the way it's broken down, again, top 10, and this is nice because everyone gets 1. Whether you're a tier 1, 2, or 3 subscriber, you get 1 entry into this, but we have tiered rewards because of that. Ratio of 1, 1, 3 to make up the full 5 parts of the subscriber tier, okay? So what do we add in? Well, first place, you're going to pick up, as a tier 1 subscriber, 5K. As a tier 2, you're going to pick up an additional for a total of 10K. Tier 3, you're going to get the full amount seen here for a total of 25K coins. Again, very nice as a tier 3 subscriber, and even a tier 1 or 2. And again, top 10 only for coins. It is 5, 5, 15, 3, 3, 9 for second place. So again, what is that? That is 15K. You're going to go to 10K if you finish third to fifth, and then 5K if you are a tier 3 subscriber and you finish 6th through 10th. So again, adding coins back in certain places, that will give you a bit more scrap. You already get some decent scrap in here in Blackout. But again, it's adding a little bit of stuff back in to balance it out. And again, from the 50K that was taken away from Unlimited, okay? Again, some might look at that as, oh, that's, you know, oh, that's you're taking away from Unlimited. Not really. as an unlimited player, you have, as a tier 3 player, you have the ability to get multiple shots at all of this stuff, to win more out of all this stuff. And realistically, that 50K was at the 85K tier anyway. And so I think it's a little more attainable, plus pushing everything up throughout Unlimited should help a ton, okay? Rebalanced a bit within the packs in here, but I think it makes sense not to completely break the game and give 1 billion of those out. But now capped contests should feel a little bit more like a mid-level game, you know, for the generals out there, the guys like him who really can't reach that upper tier yet, who really are not end game. As you're mid game and you're getting a little better there, you're going to see yourself getting into capped a little bit better. Maybe you score higher and you get yourself some of the coins for being top 10. Okay, so that's going to be the new setup for contests. And I think, honestly, the initial change to the new ratios, the initial way we've been doing it for the past month plus, I think that was good. I think this is more of a final iteration on that. Again, evening out the game a little bit better, giving back, and, you know, making it a little more fair across the board, but also incentivizing you guys to tier 3 sub, because at the end of the day, you know, tier 3 sub, $25 a month, not everybody can do that, but it really, people saying that maybe it's not really worth it, it is big worth it. It is big time worth it. And it is, you know, you see that ratio across the board in everything that we do, and hopefully everything that we will do going forward. We can't do it just in missions like that right now. I wish we had different, you know, a free tier prizes and missions, and maybe below a sub tier prize set for missions that just, you know, doubles and triples if you're tier 2 or tier 3 or whatever. That would be great. Something we can get to later, possibly. But for now, I think we're in a really good place going into season 11. And again, that's going to be upcoming with the start of the NFL season. So, again, man, it's not to hurt anyone. End of the day, I want it so that, like, people really feel comfortable playing one account. You should not need burners. You shouldn't need alts. Yes, it makes the numbers look cooler here and there. Yes, it can lead to more revenue for us, but end of the day, it's about the game being fun to play, being balanced, and not feeling like you need to in order to get ahead. You want a tier 3? Guess what? Tickets alone, you're going to get your money back. That's awesome. And you're still going to be able to do things like trade cards around, get more coins, and get more XP you can transfer. You just won't really be able to transfer scrap anymore, but I believe that the game's gonna be in a better spot, so it won't matter that much. All right, so again, man, it's not a must to grind alts with all these changes, and that's how the game should be. It feels like this is going to be very, very good across the board. But again, I'm interested in hearing your guys' thoughts. I know I've been yelled at by Ja, by Collins, and more as well. It's never nice for you guys to come into the game and just see like all these changes overnight. There's no pop-up yet, no info on it, and I get it, man. I played RPGs, I played games like this. You think the worst immediately, and a lot of times in a lot of those games, it is bad, right? There is no both ways. It's, a game's going to a full lot. Oh, it's all pay to win. That's it, right? We don't want that, okay? So I think this brings us back in line with where we really want to be going forward. We'll be getting into RTG very soon. I'm so excited for that. We build that out right. We're looking good. On to the future with everything else, man. And again, questions, comments, concerns, if you guys have anything, drop a comment or jump in the Discord as well. Drop a comment anyway, like the video, and jump in the Discord. That would be, I would be most appreciative if you did that, okay? DM me. I'm at Fantasy the Show in Discord. Jared in there as well. What's up? And again, man, it's important to hear from the end game players, the mid game players, the brand new players as well, man. The guys who, the awesome new crew, especially that's been coming in recently. Like, we have so many new people. We have one big group that all plays together. I want to hear all your thoughts. I want to make the game easier early on for you guys. But I'm telling you, I really think rebinding teams on blue gear and lower now is just, it's so cheap. It's so easy. You can make those early card sets very easily now, man. Work on those event sets especially, and it's going to make you guys very competitive in especially the lower end cap stuff and into the middle. So to me, it's all good changes, and yeah, man, I'm excited for it. So anyway, I appreciate you guys. Again, drop a comment. Let me know what you guys like, what you don't like. All good. Call me a clown. That's fine too. It'll let me know that you guys actually did sit through the entire thing and pay attention. And again, man, if you want to get at me more directly, you can DM me in Discord. All right, go to the homepage, fantasytheshow.com, and the Discord link is in the blue pane right on the front. And you get a free 5-pack of epics for joining. So if you didn't grab that one. Grab the Twitch free pack that's in the bio there. There's a bunch of free packs all around for everybody. All right, that's gonna do it for today. Again, it's Wednesday. I'm not going to be up today for the main stream because it was supposed to be the best ball draft. You guys are in it. Get your draft done. I don't think you're close to done yet. I see you guys moving in the slow draft. There will be one more best ball draft. That'll be next week, probably more alive. We'll discuss. I got like 60 guys on the list so far. Justin, a bunch of you guys, man. So I'll get you guys in. We'll get that set. And man, NFL is right around the freaking corner. Give it to me, boys. I am so excited. Again, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys for bearing with us, man. A lot of changes inbound, but it is all good for the game. All right, I will talk to you guys soon. FantasyTheShow.com. Peace.